Welcome to the video, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be having an in-depth guide of the easiest to the hardest way to increase your DPS inside of Solo Peace. I will be leaving timestamps so you can skip along because this is basically going to be going from early game all the way up to end game. And I'm going to be, this is my personal opinion. I do want to get that off my chest. So if you might view stuff a little bit differently. But yeah, let's get straight into this, guys. So, starting off with the easiest one is stats. Stat is are the easiest things to increase in the game. You gain so many levels early on. Great way to increase your DPS, and they are one of the easiest because all you're going to be doing is killing mobs and then increasing for XP. So, talking about XP and leveling stuff up, your actual melee sword or a fruit. This is like you can get a sword basically straight away out of the game. Getting a good sword, good melee, and good fruit does take you a little bit of time, but at the same time, starting it off is like one of the biggest pushes for you. So, talking about easy early game, we have races and also traits. Two of the biggest multipliers you can get inside of Solo Peace for your DPS. Why is this not ranked first? Because you get melee stats and stuff like that super early on, but races and traits, you do have to get a bit lucky with chests to drop for you to then get those clan rerolls, or not clan rerolls. Clan rerolls are later on. So yeah, biggest multipliers probably in game, and also it's one of the early ones if you get lucky, that is. So then moving on to number 4, and we're going to be going straight to Sailor Peace, which is like a mid-gamer island. You'd be thinking, whoa, this is the easiest? There's no way. Yeah, easiest but not the biggest boost. And that is going to be your stat rerolls, ladies. Stat rerolls. So as you can see here, we've got a Z, which is one of the rarest things of the game, but only gives us 30%, 37% damage, defense plus 40, cooldown reduction 12%, luck 10%. Like very small boosts, but very key for your longevity of DPS grind. This is to max it all out. I'd probably put it at the hardest difficulty out there. But yeah, moving on though to clans. Clans, I was debating to put a little bit lower. And then with clans, one of the biggest multipliers yet again to increase your DPS in like Solo Peace. But at the same time, some of the hardest items to get in the game. Even after AFK in, what was it, 8 hours last night, I only got 1800. I think I even AFK'd longer. And that is the most efficient farm to get it. 1800. At everything else in the game, I feel like I could have got tens of thousands, but clan rerolls are one of the hardest things to get, like early game. But at the same time, you don't need many to max it out, and you can get a good race early on. But then moving on to the second thing, I don't know why I went out my inventory, is accessories. Early game accessories, not the biggest multiplier. You do have to get lucky. You do have to farm bosses, which can be very troubling if you're earlier on in the game. But if we go over to stats and we view accessories, the best accessory of the game basically doubles my DPS, doubles 1 or 2.5 times my defense, and even reduces the damage reduction I receive. So overall, a great piece accessories, but which you can get from any boss. So if you get lucky, is going to be a great boost to you, but sometimes you get super unlucky and you need to farm bosses for a long period of time before one drops. So that's why it's around mid tier, because you only get a good accessories when you do dungeons. And talking about dungeons, that leads us into the next place to increase your power at the mid game stage, and that is dungeons. As you can see here, we've got Dungeon Shop, but then if we go over to dungeons directly, we've got 3 dungeons over here, and this middle one right here is one of the best multiplayers you get. I keep saying for best, but it's like one of the amazing multiplayers you can get if you get super lucky though. That's what makes it quite difficult because people have been farming this rune dungeon for a whole night and still haven't got the Havoc rune, which gives you an 88% damage multiplier once it is maxed out. But at the same time, you can get an earlier run one, which only increases your damage by 20 or 30%. Still very decent, and you'd only have to complete the dungeon once. Not that hard on easy mode, and it would result in a good boost. So easy to get, hard to master, very similar concept with this whole game. So moving on to titles. One of the most annoying things to grind out this game, but the most entertaining at the same time, and that is titles. You've been seeing so far, hold on, that doesn't increase DPS, that's only XP, money, gems. But once we scroll down, boss drops. See, it's tied with bosses again, which made me want to put accessories and titles together, but titles are like a 1% drop, while accessories are just a tad bit higher at 4 times value on some bosses. But at the same time, gives you some amazing buffs up to like 72.5% in the end game. But then you'd be thinking, Jesus Christ, we're already in 1% category. How can it get harder than this? It can. And that will be leading us into probably the smallest boost you can get if you do like a conversion, and that is auras and cosmetics. Auras and cosmetics you get from mob drops, but at the same time, it's a 0.1% drop chance of dropping one, I'm pretty sure, if you kill a mob, and they don't give you that big of a boost as well. So that's 15% damage increase, 10% damage for a 0.1% chance of dropping as well. You have to kill a lot of enemies, so it's not very significant, but at the same time, it is one of the hardest things if you are purposely grinding for. So moving on to the next one, we're already in 0.1 category. This one's a little bit easier to get into, but at the same time, it is tied with bosses and resources which you need to get from those bosses, so making it an exponentially harder, and you have to farm out the item multiple times, and that is gonna be a blessings and enchanting, which is in Saboya's station. So with blessings, you need it won't tell me for requirements because I've got a load of resources. But if we go over to inventory, all the way down on items to common items, it needs wood, which is kind of a rare drop, iron, another one of that items. Like I think it's above level 3, you need another of that item, unless it's like a sword or a melee, and then it is just more resources from that boss drop. So lengthwise, it is becoming close to if you max out an item. So let's say Ichigo or Dark Sword, you'd probably have to be grinding out 5+ hours to be getting a maxed out B or E enchant or E10 item. So we're already talking about 5 to 10 hours of grinding, guys. So this is where the end game is going to start to kick in a little bit, and that is going to be artifacts. Artifacts is something which you probably never complete in the game, and I only say that is due to the fact that you can unlock them early on, but to get a good artifact set maxed out on everything, you're looking at an impossible chance. Because you need maxed out damage, maxed out crit damage, maxed out crit chance. Don't worry about HP or damage reduction. And there's probably, I'm going to say, 100 combinations per category. So you times 100 by 100, or you square 100 by 100, and then you square that number by 100 again. So to just to get maxed out on one piece, and you've got 4 pieces. But to get like a good artifact earlier on, or like some artifacts, it's super easy. You can get them quite chill. That is the thing, guys. Like easy to get, but didn't want to give you guys a massive hope because, like, in a sense, artifacts you can get as soon as stat rerolls, clans, and stuff like that. But at the same time, it is not worthwhile because they don't give you that much of a boost, and because you have to level them up as well. That's more artifacts and dust. So I wanted to put them around mid to like end game are things that boost your DPS. If you guys got a different opinion, just comment them down below. I fully understand. But yeah, moving on to the next thing, and that is observation and armament hacking. You're going to be like, Speckle, you can get this super early on. You just go to the Snow Vendor, complete 3 or 4 quests, and you're good. That is correct, but you get what, 5 dodges, 10% damage increase. They're not worth it until you've leveled them up, and that is spending hours, like an overnight session, just AFK grinding, maxing them out, and then they actually give you a good boost. Easy to obtain yet again, guys, but at the same time, it's stuff you passively do while playing the game. So same thing with artifacts. I don't want to put them higher on the list because I don't want people focusing that much on them. But yeah, then moving on to actually something which does require end game items, or not end game items, end game equipment and overall, and that is for skill tree. So you talk to this person for skill master for skill tree, you need to be level 7,500 to be talking to this person and have quite a few gems. And as you can see, they give you an actual skill tree where you need to kill 250 mobs per skill point to then max out. So even if you're doing the most efficient farm overnight, you're looking at a minimum of 20 hours of AFK to max this out completely. But at the same time, if you want to min max it, you'd max out your damage first, your crit chance, or damage, no, luck, damage, crit chance, then crit damage, and then leave at HP, even though HP doesn't require that much. So, yet again, guys, that one is actually one of the true endgame items that I do want you guys to be a bit cautious of, is a long grind. But yeah, talking about long grinds, we are now going to be talking about Conqueror's Haki, which is this lovely thing. And this requires for 2 other Hakis to be at level 40 and level 25 to even consider getting, and then Ascension 5 on top of that, which is even longer of a grind. So you're going to be looking at hour 15 to 20 into the game before you even think about starting to max out for the first two hackies, and then you're looking at hour 30 to 40 before you're like, okay, I'm going to start getting Conqueror as a hacky, doing the quest, and then maxing that out as well. Because even I personally have not maxed out Conqueror's hacky yet. Max level is 22 or 25, and it's currently at 22. So yeah, moving on to the second to last item, guys. And this is, once your end game, super easy to obtain. But until your end game, don't even think about it. And that are F moves for your skills. So it's a whole new skill mastery which you need to obtain by using resources on top of the resources you've already tamed to get this skill. So True Irons I've got on for F skill. Gilgamesh, he's got an F move, but I haven't even got Gilgamesh because that's going to be a couple hours of grinding. And those are like secret vendors scattered around the map. So, moving on to the last thing in the game, and that are the boss rush upgrades. And if you guys have skipped all the way to the end just to hear what the hardest is, and you disagree with this option, you are mentally insane. Because one of the toughest things in the game right now, to my knowledge, is this boss rush event on extreme difficulty. So we go to Sailor Island and we go over here. Boss rush upgrades, boss rush, and boss rush shop. So how does this increase your DPS? So increases your DPS by going over to the upgrades, and as you can see here, damage percentage increase 5%, 5 upgrades, so it maxes out at 15. And then you got crit damage, crit chance, health, and luck. So you're like, Speckle, that mustn't be that hard. You just go into a boss, kill some bosses, done so. You'd think it'd be that simple, but the rate of boss rush tokens dropping makes maxing out all of those upgrades 83 hours long. And that is AFKing or sweating it out. It only takes 83 hours to max out boss rush upgrades, which is like the most insane thing I have ever heard. And they must have added this simply due to future updates where they're going to keep putting more DPS items in the game, and eventually you'd be able to go from easy to medium to hard and then extreme, which I kind of enjoy for future planning. But yeah, guys, you've heard me ramble on for a full on 18 minutes long, which is the longest probably ever. So I hope to catch you guys next time, and make sure to be looking out for today's update, which is going to be in T minus 2 hours. So I hope you enjoy it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I hope to catch you on the new update.